Everyone ready for wine number 3?
Which is 3 now? They got turned around on my barrel.
So 3 is the
My
Barolo.
ice bucket. My ice bucket. They got turned around.
Wait, do you have the reds in an ice bucket?
I thought you said everything's supposed to be chilled. My
No.
first day, I thought room temperature were red. You said no.
Yeah, no. Red's definitely room temperature.
I thought we went over this the first day.
Yes.
Okay.
Whites you want at like 45 to 55 degrees.
Okay.
Reds you want about like 60 to 70 or 60 to 65 degrees.
Okay, because I didn't chill the red ones the first week, and I thought you said they're supposed to be in the refrigerator or something like that.
Oh,
I missed it.
15 minutes.
Yeah, it was chilled, like, especially because of summer, for a lot of people, put them in the fridge for about 15 minutes just to because room temperature is essentially is a cellar in France, which is about 60 to 65 degrees.
So which one are we doing? The Giribaldi or the
the Giribaldi.
Okay.
Or actually, it would be Giribaldi.
You don't want your Italian mustache? I can help you out for.
I have a question for you, Richard.
Yep.
Regarding corkscrews. I used to be a bartender and a server, and we just used the regular conventional ones like this. But I see a lot of people spending like $60 for fancy lever corkscrews, and that's,
you missed it. This is my go-to right here.
Okay.
Yeah, I love lever action ones. I really don't like the rabbit with the kind of like fold out wings. But this has like so many kind of alternates that are out there. But I mean, this gets the cork on and off like so quickly that I mean. That's never a concern anymore unless you're.
Or it recorks it as well.
Yeah. Well, that thing won't recork it.
Okay.
Yeah, but anything that's over, say, 15 years or so, or if I look at the cork and it's looking a little sketchy, then this is what I use. Let's see, pull it against like some white. So these little tines go. They slide through the sides of the cork, and you twist it around so it kind of breaks the seal, and then you'll pinch on the sides and you can pull the cork out.
I broke it in half, and you have to get that last bit, and it's too far down, and you're worried about going in at the angle. That is, we used to work at a golf club, and owners had their own wines, and they were 50-year-old bottles of wine. It was so terrifying crap, and they would break. And that was the only thing. You felt like this much cork, and it's so far down there to get it out.
Yeah, that
like surgery.
That particular thing was what was kind of recommended by the master somms that taught my class.
Yeah, we're just like, oh lordy, it's nerve wracking.
I think you're right.
All right, so Barolo, King of Wines.
I think the first are clear.
All right.
In the sun.
As you're kind of looking at this guy, I mean, in terms of that same band, yeah. I don't know if you see it, but it has definitely got that kind of, I don't know, eighth of an inch of just kind of like almost brown.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. It's like a layer of something. I don't know. It's weird.
So yeah, that is rim variation. I'm glad that we finally get to kind of see it in action. But it's something to impress your friends with. If all of a sudden you can do that, And it's one of those identifiers that you know Psalms have to do,
She did a good job last night.
to be able to say yes, this is, to kind of pinpoint not so much the year, but at least get it within like a particular range. And then from there, now all of a sudden you're pulling into, kind of like with Paulos, where I was telling you about how the 2015 was actually a better year than the 2014. That, that's when all of a sudden you're kind of going through your Rolodex of, which years within this band were either really good or really bad, to kind of nail down, what you're tasting in terms of, what this should be. And if it's really good, then it must have been one of those, the really good years versus this isn't really tasting as good as it should. So therefore it must have been on one of the bads. Which even during the bad for Barolo, it's still pretty good.
But it cools down at night, so that hot sun.
All right.
During
So let's give this thing a swirl and then give it a sniff. Ah.
You're ready, good. What are we talking about?
Oh shit!
This
This cork will not go back in.
What'd you say?
I broke my first 2 corks, and then only the Amarone came out right.
Oh.
I don't know why. Just a regular corkscrew.
I'm very susceptible to suggestions, so.
All right. So what's everyone smelling on this?
Maybe blackberries?
Okay.
Definitely fruity.
This one's only $40.
Cherry cigar
Mom.
on your couch.
Whose dog is that?
Ray's.
So I'm not.
So see?
So I'm definitely getting red fruit. Not sure if I'm getting any black fruit, but okay. Anything else people are getting?
You see any spice in there? Like, is there a little bit of just salt or not quite salt, something else?
Me, I get leather.
I said that too.
Is that what it is? It almost smells like plastic.
Noel was getting leather. I'm getting, in the automotive world, I'd say this is more of a power steering fluid.
Foreign or domestic? Well, I guess it's foreign.
I said
Not brake fluid?
cigar on a leather couch.
I don't know. I taste that 3 myself.
Cherry cigar on a leather couch. That's what I got. He gets motor oil.
No, I said
Transmission fluid.
power steering fluid. Power steering fluid. Paul's maybe onto something with the brake fluid, though.
I have a couple of bottles of that.
All right. Well, it sounds like we're pretty in consensus with what we're smelling. So let's go ahead and give this thing a taste. Cheers.
So I have a.
It's smooth.
Never shot it.
Oh.
One thing I noticed is
that's
that
got a
the
punch.
white wines have a more aromatic taste, whereas the red wines, not taste, the flavor, the odor, the aroma, whereas the red wines are more subdued aroma. Is that universal or?
No, again, this is the difference between old world and new world. Old world, you're going to be less fruit forward, more in that kind of like in the earth and spice and like vegetal.
How's that? It's like, so would South America be old world or new world?
You say South America or South Africa?
America.
Let's say both.
Yeah, well,
One's new, one's old.
yeah, pretty much. As soon as you go outside of Europe, you're in New World.
Okay.
Is there any Asian wines that compete, or do you just consider that not wine?
Say that one more time.
Like Asia?
Are there any Asian wines that compete, or are they just not?
You know, I have to say I haven't ever had an Asian like grape wine. I've had rice wine. I've had, you know, like, but I've never had a grape wine from Asia.
You know, Japan got into the bourbon market and they're kind of killing it.
Yep.
Yeah, they got into Bordeaux too. They're making, I'm sorry, China. China's making Bordeaux.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Wow.
Maybe the consensus is they should stick to tea.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So what are we getting on the flavor of this?
Well, it hangs for days. So 2 minutes later, you're still tasting it. And
yeah.
Mild.
Yeah, that does linger. Ooh. I know exactly what that tastes like, but I'm going to wait for everyone else to comment before I tell you my thoughts.
My second sip was completely different than my first. My first one just for some reason felt smooth. I don't know if I had butter on my tongue or something, but the first taste was smooth. The second one was like, ooh, that's astringent and I like it.
Yeah.
It dramatic.
And I'm pretty sure that this Barolo was aged in French oak, and it's still this astringent. So you can imagine those that are traditionally and why they take so long to age.
I'm eating a charred steak a little bit, and to me, it has a little bit of that char, like that charred sweetness to it.
Mm-hmm.
That's sort of like what I get, that charred, dirty, but still sort of like sweet.
Yeah, it sounds like walking into a dollar store.
All right.
Carlos is frozen. His internet connection needs to be upgraded.
He's frozen a couple times. He comes back though.
Yeah.
Always comes.
Really mild with that.
So anyone else want to chime in before I give my impressions? All right.
I don't know. We've been tasting with a bunch of different stuff. I don't have an impression.
Thumbs down would not do again.
Yeah, I don't
No?
I agree.
I mean, I'm getting kind of like dried cherry and a little bit of cranberry, but the most notable piece to this that is kind of that lingering piece is like a singular baking spice, which is nutmeg. Like, have you ever had just nutmeg by itself?
It smells
yeah.
It's surprisingly bitter.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which is that astringency that is kind of, again, from that northern Italian red. You know, this is what they're kind of known for.
You got it.
But there's also something kind of tangy and green that's also on it. But it like I said, you know, to me that's kind of like the overwhelming flavor to it is nutmeg. And maybe it's just me that I mean, you know, I use nutmeg in my protein shakes in the morning, so I'm pretty familiar with that particular spice in particular.